Well, hello and welcome to my video. As you can see from the title, it's COVID-19, 3 things to do. And I was thinking about this video for a little while. And as we're all aware, we're currently in a very unusual time in this country's history and in fact the world's history. So this virus, which has swept and is sweeping the globe, is posing threats for many people, particularly those who will be more vulnerable. And we are currently under a lot of pressure to manage it. And in line with that pressure, our government have taken a number of measures to try and ensure the public are kept safe. And I'd just like to say that they have done an awful lot of good things here, and the actions and the advice they're giving, it's really important that we adhere to that. We don't know fully what this is, but what we do know is we'll get through it. The question is, get through it at what cost? So we need to be mindful and respect the advice we receive and follow those guidelines, which are there to protect all of us. This is something that needs to be looked at from a collective perspective. We need to take collective action to support us all. However, the purpose of this quick video is just to talk a little bit about the impact of this current situation on our mental health. So, no surprise, those with anxiety will be finding this time a particularly difficult time. Also, those without anxiety will be finding this a very difficult time, as there's many different factors involved with this. Concern about ourselves, concern about our loved ones, concern about economy. So there's many things that people are quite upset and frightened about at the moment. But for now, what we need to try and do is make the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is the time that's been given for our services to be closed. Many of the major people can work from home. Many of the major companies are letting people work from home. So there's an emphasis on having less people congregate together, which is a good thing. But with that comes challenges, particularly to mental health. People can be isolated enough when they experience depression, anxiety and things like this. It's often compounded when a situation like this occurs, which hasn't happened in my living history anyway. So I just thought I'd point out 3 things that perhaps you could share with loved ones or with friends, just share around with people and for yourself, that you might find helpful in planning your days over the next few weeks, because they're not going to be easy weeks. And what I just want to do is, based on my own work with clients, where I'd be using CBT to work with a lot of different clinical presentations, the 3 things I want to talk about here will just give your day that little bit more structure and direction, which is important. There's going to be a lot of time on our hands, and for some people that's a really good thing. We can get into things, but for others that time will pose a challenge. I'd even argue for those for whom the lot of time they have plenty to do, sometimes they will do a lot of things, but perhaps not into the domains that they should be doing the things. So they might do certain things that are in one particular area at the cost of another. So what I'm just going to suggest is the following 3 things you try and put into each day. And a good thing to do is to take a notepad to bed, and just before you go to sleep, write down one activity under each of these headings. And what this will mean is the next day you work at doing those 3 activities. Again, 1 for each category. So the first thing that's really important is, I'd like you to think about each evening, put down one thing that is practical. Practical meaning that by doing it, it may not be fun, but by doing it, it brings you further on. That could be like cleaning the bookshelf. It could be organizing files in your PC. So it's a practical thing. When we're doing things that are practical, it can give us that bit of a boost. We're moving in a productive way. And that's really important. So one practical thing would be a good one. Okay? The next thing, so number 2, is and again, this might seem very superficial, but it's actually very important, is to do something fun. Think about it. We're so busy. There's probably been things we've wanted to do, like catch up on videos, catch up on reading, catch up on something, catch up on board games, whatever it is. That will be really important to try and do. So something for fun is number 2. And the third thing that will be really, really helpful to do is to commit each day to one, at least one, but one social contact with somebody. So that could be text, ideally a call, video call, really, really good, to a friend or a loved one somewhere else. Okay? Keep that connection going. Now, the thing then you do with this is each evening you write down something for the next day in each of those 3 categories. That is practical, fun, and social. But here's the trick. It's not enough just to have that. Tomorrow evening, when you write down, you can return to your diary, but write down 3 things that are different, but in each of those categories. And the same for the next day. The same for the next day. So get practical, get enjoyment, get social contact. If you're doing those 3 things, you're enriching the time at the moment that we have to manage around the less social contact, the not doing as much work perhaps, and the feeling that we're not really in control. These 3 things will help us get a sense of that control back. So I hope you found that helpful. Please feel free to contact me, any questions, and for now, mind yourselves, keep in touch, and if you have anyone at home who's that bit older, who has technology but maybe isn't used to using the video apps, like WhatsApp, and you maybe sit down and show them how to do that so they can actually get that contact face to face with people. Okay. The great thing about technology is that while there's challenges with it, it does bring us closer together at times, and times like these it particularly does. So take care, mind yourself, bye.